That was the feeling of that butthole getting stretched.
Ooh.
I don't know if that happened, but
It did
35 points in the Super Bowl.
Back-to-back losses in 2 straight years in the chip.
Yeah, man.
back-to-back appearances in the chip.
It's a good way to look at it.
Positive. That's a positive way.
We got a lot of stats to go over tonight, so that will be discussed.
This is the Any Given Sunday podcast, official podcast of the Any Given Sunday Fantasy Football League. We're recapping the Any Given Sunday Super Bowl tonight. We've got the champ here. We got the regular crew here. A dynasty was born this season. It just wasn't the Quans. We'll get into it. Let's introduce the crew, starting with the Quan. Sorry, Quan.
What's up, fellas? It'll be a short intro today. I don't want to, I think it's only right that that the champ NJC get to speak give his championship speech before we hear my drowned sorrows talk of this entire week and losing for the second year in a row. But congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Hell of an opponent to play.
Some of us would just be happy to be in that dance, sir. And you've been there more times than not, right? Commissioner, welcome back once again to the maybe penultimate episode of the season.
Thanks for having me. A few words for the intro here. Dynasty, like my forefathers from the corners. We're the street sons slaughter. Look at how they mourn us. Built the kingdom, then we watched it crumble. History repeating. Pride before the tumble, a false dynasty that never was. Author unknown.
That was so eloquent, Coop. Thank you.
Wow. That was Shakespearean.
A little bit.
Yeah, fuck you. A nice little fuck you.
We're just getting started, Quan.
Just getting started.
There's going to be more of that and more of the Hennessy, too. And you know what? Let's introduce the back-to-back champ, 3-time league champ, New Jack City. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you. I'm humbly grateful, and I really appreciate Lou's comment. It's been a long season, formidable opponent, and no greater person to go back to back on. I have prepared a speech. I am going to have to plug in my computer in a second, so I'll get this speech out. So
while you're plugging in that computer, cheers to our champion. NJC
Bravo.
Is now the second greatest franchise in any given Sunday history. 3 championships, only one behind the Frogs, and only the second team in AGS history to go back-to-back. Congrats on an incredible season.
Thank you. All right, we're good. So, no, absolutely, Coop. It definitely is rare air. So what I prepared is a little something. I had a late night delivery last night. The AGS commish came by and brought me a wonderful bottle of champagne. Thank you very much, commish. And I definitely appreciate being a part of a wonderful fantasy organization. So ladies and gentlemen and scoundrels of AGS, let me take a moment to reflect, not just on what was achieved, but on what was doubted, underestimated, and yes, even dismissed. Week after week, year after year, the ambassador of Quan, the so-called dynasty, proclaimed dominance with the calm, cocky assurance of someone who believed victory was inevitable. But in this league, inevitability meets reality, and reality is NJC is the dynasty. For 18 years, this league has seen champions rise and fall. But until today, only one team in its storied history has gone back-to-back. Tonight, I join that elite company. Back-to-back titles don't happen by accident. They're earned through grit, precision, and a refusal to crumble under pressure. For too long, my team was seen as a stepping stone for others' greatness, a franchise marked by perilous victories, crazy trade patterns, and late-night waiver wire soul-searching. Confidence wavered, the pundits scoffed, but like Jordan standing between Charles Barkley, Patrick Ewing, and other dreams of glory, I stood firm. I didn't just compete, I denied. I delivered, I dominated. Destinies aren't built on calm proclamations. They're forged in the fire of adversity. They're born not from a certainty of the cocky, but from the resilience of the doubted. And while the ambassador of Quan was whispered of inevitability, I went to work. Every trade, every lineup, every matchup, a masterpiece in the making. This season wasn't about proving others wrong. It was about proving myself right. The true dynasty in this league wasn't loud. It was deliberate. It wasn't flashy. It was effective. And now, as the dust settles, it's clear. The ambassador of Queef wasn't a dynasty. He was the Ewing to my Jordan, the Barkley to my Bulls. To my fellow league members, let this be a lesson. The path to greatness isn't paved with bravado, but with belief. To the ambassador of Quan, I thank you for the competition. It made this all the sweeter. And to the history books, write this down. I am the second team in 18 years to go back-to-back. The dynasty that was hidden in plain sight, but now stands firmly, undeniably on the AGS Mount Rushmore. Forged in the blood, sweat, and tears of NJC's constant perseverance and achievement in human endeavor. Thank you. God bless this league, and God bless the grind. A true dynasty champion.
Shout out ChatGPT for script
You
writing.
beat me to it. You beat me to it, Frog. I was gonna call him out on that shit. There's no way you wrote that. Not that you couldn't. It's just who's spending the time, right?
I had him rewrite it a couple times so it fit right, but yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, for the record, hey, thanks, Jasmine. I see you back there listening to the speech, so that she got to take it all in. Hey, for the record, I had 2 bottles of champagne that I should have delivered before the game started. Coming back from the Valley with both of them. I'm 3 minutes from your house, Lewis, and Zach Ertz scored another touchdown, and I was like, there's no point in dropping this bottle off. So I went straight to BC's. I gave him his bottle, and I'll bring it over on New Year's. We can sip it then.
Right.
How poetic. How
You see-
I'll
poetic.
come over and drink some with you and have some nice gumbo.
Your invitation is rescinded. No, I'm joking. Please come over and bring Simi Valley.
Yeah, for sure.
Simi
for
Valley's
sure.
welcome.
Absolutely.
If we won, if Simi Valley is still around.
Yes, absolutely.
It's 2 days away, man. I mean, what's going on?
Absolutely.
Why would that's bitter. Quan, you must have, as the loser once again in the Super Bowl, you must have something prepared, and we'd like to let you kind of.
God damn, I can't follow that up.
Well, before we cry, let's celebrate. Thanks, Coop.
So anyway, I first want to say,
Hey, we got to see the bubbles. You got to talk. We got to see the bubbles.
my bad. Go ahead. I can't interrupt this. That's amazing. Awesome.
That's the only slurping I do, boys.
Oh, you know
You're
what?
supposed to wear the goggles, man. Speaking of slurping, Dominique congratulated you twice today.
I know, right?
Several
Congratulations.
congrats from the right pack.
The early conceding congratulations.
This
Yeah.
is kind of some fucked up shit, man. He's I mean, I feel bad, Quan. We're gonna know how bad you feel pretty soon, but you know, NJC and I came into the league at the same time, and he's won thrice, and but hats off, man. It's been very impressive, and the back-to-back, he ate the humble pie. I think that's when things turned the corner for you. It was the humble pie episode.
Humble pie.
That was it. Yeah.
Humble pie. No, but man, it you know what? Seriously, Lou. On paper, you should have won that game, bro. But I'll say, your team is still great, brother. I'm not no more shit to talk. I said my speech. See you next year.
Man, that was a good speech, though. even though fuck. Anyway, yeah. So the best. I'll start off with from the beginning, and the only real good thing about this week was that at least the shit started early, where I've already kind of put it behind me, sort of. But Christmas Day,
the slowest championship week in history.
I mean,
whoever lost, it's the slowest death of all time.
So I tried to avoid the slow death. I really didn't even watch football much. Saturday, so Christmas was all bad.
Outside of going to SoFi Stadium and actually watching football.
Yeah, I'm actually watching the game at SoFi.
I didn't watch much football, but except I went to the game.
But I went with my kids. It was more, it's not the same. Came in like half
any football at all.
first quarter left at halftime. But anyhow, dude, it started early. I sat Travis Kelce, which was he was looking terrible for like the last 6 weeks. He shitted on me last year in the championship, and Chega Conco was looking good, who still had a pretty decent game for a tight end. But Travis Kelce putting up 20 points was just like, oh, it's not meant to be. And then and the Houston Baltimore game was just ridiculous. Houston looked so terrible. They couldn't even put up any points. My kicker put up 0 and Mixon, but I'm not going to go down line by line. I'll just talk about the highlights. The CD going out, and then Tua going out, which just made Devon A-Chain just worthless. But
did he get hurt, or he scored 4 points really quickly?
When Tua's not playing, he might as well be hurt.
I mean, he didn't get hurt. What happened was the defense is really good on shutting down outside runners. So every time A-Chain got the ball, him being an outside runner, he got shut down. So that's why Mostert and who was number 23, was that Wilson or whatever his name was, they're inside runners, and that's why they ended up running the ball.
On top of that, when they do shut down A-Chain on the outside, Tua's passing usually is what makes up for it. He dinks and dunks to A-Chain all day. And without a quarterback who can confidently check down, it's not happening.
You mentioned Joe Mixon. There was a stat I saw. Joe Mixon only scored single-digit fantasy points in one full game during weeks 1 through 15. He did it in back-to-back weeks in the fantasy semifinals and championship.
Yeah. So I wanted to bench Joe Mixon, but because of the Christmas Day early game on Wednesday, had I benched him, I was running the risk of CeeDee Lamb being out and then not having somebody to play. And of course, CeeDee Lamb went out, so he played. So I made the right decision, but he didn't do anything. But
the good news is that you lost by so many points, it wouldn't matter.
Yeah. I'm going on extension here. Let me bring this shit together. So anyway, I said it before. This is the best team that I've ever had, and it just goes.
Well, I'm sorry, real quick. You missed one thing. Colts defense. Talk us through that.
Oh my God!
Negative 3
Jesus
points against
Christ.
the New York Giants football.
What the fuck were the New York Giants doing?
Hey, Malik Nabers ruined a lot of fantasy
football. One last
football.
gift from Malik Nabers for you.
They have been dead on solid offenses to target for a defense. Literally this whole second half of the season since they started.
I targeted him last week. I got 30 points.
He got 30, and I saw that
Falcons
30
versus
points.
Giants got 30 points.
And was like, I'm good with half of that. And the Colts are a good defense. They put up 45 points.
It's the first time since like 2010 or some shit.
And then my kicker, who is, I believe, number 2 in fantasy points this year, second kicker, and I've kept him all season. He's put up double digits damn near every game, puts up a donut. So it leaves me like the luck didn't fall my way this game. It has I'll take it back before I give my shout out, my praises to BC and how much of a hell of a season he had and his waiver wire pickups. But I'll just say it goes to show you, man, it's a lot of luck involved with this. And luck didn't go my way, but I'll say this again. This is the best team that I ever had. This was one of the most funnest seasons I've ever played. Last year was fun, but this year I had like 4 games come down to Monday night, even against all three of y'all. All three of y'all, I think my games came down to the Monday night, and it was like the last few plays of the game. And it was a super fun season. What hurts more than this loss is the fact that this shit is over, man. I gotta wait all the way to August because I'm really excited about this team coming back. I finally have an MVP quality quarterback, so I look forward to that. But to NJC, man, dude, that's a hell of a win against a really. I mean, if this team wasn't mine, if it was anybody else's, I would just be like, man, that shit is unfair. How stacked that team is, how much anytime I tell people the players that I have on my team, they're like, how did that even happen? But you've managed to keep them from winning 2 years in a row. And your team was this year, last year's team was Lamar was just not going to be denied the championship. And anyway, but this year was a team, that comprised of like some real fucking trash waiver wire pickups that hit. Njoku being out and just grabbing Zach Ertz is like a last ditch effort, and this motherfucker's a tight end 1 on the week. Like, Jesus Christ. That other dude at Tampa Bay, I don't even know his name.
Jalen McMillan, man.
Yeah, I even know his name. And that dude matched BTJ's points, which that hurt too. But that was a real, like, when analysts talk about like staying in it and staying on it and being and being smart, like don't give up, like that's how you win fantasy championships. Stayed in, picked up players off waiver wires, and beat a stacked juggernaut team. So congratulations.
Thank you.
I'll drink to that.
Thank you. So will I. Cheers to that.
Well, you mentioned Travis Kelce, and now you've mentioned Zach Ertz. So I want to introduce a new segment tonight. It's called the Butterfly Effect. Here we go, the new segment, the Butterfly Effect. This one, it won't be weekly, but when it applies, I'll bring it out. This one is called the Tight End Butterfly Effect. On December 3rd, Queef Swallower drops Zach Ertz. On December 5th, Quan picks up Zach Ertz. Holds on to him for a couple weeks. I don't think he ever plays him. I think he had a bye week, but holds on to him for about 3 weeks. A few days ago, 9 days to be exact, December 21st, Quan drops Zach Ertz. 4 days later, on Christmas Day, a nice Christmas gift for NJC, he picks up Zach Ertz. On December 25th, Quan picks up Chigoziem Okonkwo. On December 25th, busy day, Quan benches Travis Kelce, a long-term Quan Dynasty member, his 2024 first-round pick, going into a game where he had the opportunity to catch his 1,000th reception, break Tony Gonzalez-Gobert's chief record with his 77th touchdown reception with the Kansas City Chiefs, and goes on to score 19 points. 2 days later, apparently not enough to make the starting lineup this week. 2 days later, December 27th, David Njoku is downgraded to out for week 17. I think NJC got the alert ORL fishy. 2 days after that, December 29th, after benching Kelce and picking up Okonkwo, Quan starts him and gets 8.5 points. Same day, December 29th, Zach Ertz scores 23 points against the Quan, whose roster he was just on a week before, helping to secure the championship for NJC. Okonkwo scored 10.5 points less than Kelce and 14.5 less than Ertz, who I mentioned was on Quan's roster 8 days earlier. And that, my friend, is the first edition of the Butterfly Effect.
Damn.
Well done. Bravo.
That shit was deep.
And a little poetic.
I like
too.
that shit.
Yeah, this is a poetic moment as well, because Zach Ertz was a longtime New Jack City member. That's a back in the day tight end for you. And he was like, look, man, I got this is my last leg. I'm on it right now. And looking at your roster, he slotted in with everybody else, double digits, high production. You save the best for last. And you hit the nail on the head with your speech. Quan exuded a little aura about him all season long, and you just felt like it was going to come back to get him. But he's got a great team, and he'll be back. I just want to say one more thing before we continue to beat down Quan, who, at least by the way, Quan, in the offseason, you can escape all of this, right? It's not like you're on a thread with all of us, and we're going to remind you how painful this must be. 3 straight Super Bowls and one, and the whole time you're calling yourself a dynasty, but it's no big deal. I want to say that
myself a dynasty. All right.
Quite a few times on the podcast on WAC.
We have receipts.
Quite a few times I backed down from that, but anyway.
After we convinced you to back down,
like last week, like a week ago, by the way. But I just want to say one thing. Your haters are gonna say, this isn't a fantasy football podcast, quote unquote. We're not pros, but we have a 4-time champ. We have a 1-time champ who's been in the mix a lot, and we have a back-to-back 3-time champ on here. So, I mean, if you're just interested in winning your day-to-day fucking league, these guys know what they're doing. I mean, I don't, but they do. So I just want to fucking throw that out there for those haters.
Thanks, man. No, I mean, to kind of, number one, very good segment, Coop. Definitely needs to stay. But to address kind of what you said, Quan, you do have a stacked team, bro. The thing is, like our league, the NFL is getting more competitive, and these elite receivers do encounter matchups that do limit their production. And there's always opportunity. Someone gets hurt. Teams catch fire, just like, our fantasy teams. And Ertz, man, I'll be honest. I had a hat in the bucket for Okonkwo. I think that my first pick was somebody else. Okonkwo was second. I think maybe Miami was the first pick.
You picked the defense first because I had
Miami was first.
First waiver was I was going to try to block the defense in case you went for the tight end. And then my second move was like, all right, I'll grab the tight end if he's not going for the defense. Yep.
So you picked up Okonkwo. Last week Njoku tricked me, man. I wasn't, he after I think the Chargers played last Saturday or early last week, and then Njoku played later and ended up putting up some points. So I thought that was going to be the case this week. So I picked up Ertz, kind of as a back. Gesicki looked good, but I should have picked up Gesicki. I was talking to Coop about that. That would have been a good pickup too, because to kind of offset Burrow. But
he balled out too.
Huh?
He balled out too, I believe.
Yeah. He put up 15. But I don't know. I just looked at the matchup. I don't know.
Balled out.
I looked at the matchup, bro, and I figured that McLaurin was going to get locked up. I didn't see Zacchaeus being that much of a beast, bro. That dude is he's a beast. I know Nick. I know exactly. So I figured if in the event that McLaurin gets shut down by Terrell, Ertz would have to be the person that is the recipient. So that was kind of a roll of the dice. But I said it all season. I try to find consistency in all positions. I look for double digits. If you think about it, if you get double digits in all 9 positions and your quarterback hits the expected 20, that's 110 points right there, right? You know what I mean? Or at least 100, right? Mm-hmm. So from there, you can kind of get over that. And I honestly feel like because Joe Burrow, man, you can ask anybody. I was shitting the bed when Joe Burrow. That was a perfect storm, man. Lamar gets shut down, no fourth quarter, and Burrow gets that fucking bullshit. Chase goes down, hurts himself.
That was awesome, man, because Quan talked about it, how he got off to a bad start early, but Burrow evened it up. It was back to 50-50 percentages after Burrow's game.
Burrow, I was going to text you, Lennon, and say, why is Burrow giving me hope? Why?
Dude, I was in a bad mood. I was in a bad mood, bro.
And then I think it came down to what was it? Because after that, then I needed somebody else to ball out.
Well, Jonathan Taylor balled out.
No, and then Jonathan Taylor balled out, and I think after that I needed points from. No, you started scoring. That's it. Players that weren't supposed to score were just started balling.
I mean, because
before that, it was Burrow, Taylor, Brian Thomas Jr. That brought it back, and then it was
it even tilted to his favor. It was like 50. It got up back to like 60, almost 60% at one point.
That's the 60s, but I still wasn't that confident. Because once the Tua alert started coming out, and I knew. I mean, I've had A-Chain forever, and Tua's been out multiple times. I knew if Tua doesn't play, A-Chain is done. So
yeah, I think your players started balling. Saquon came out to a slow start. I think after like a quarter and a half, he only had 2 points.
First half, Saquon was not looking good the first half. Same thing for Kyren. I was at that game, and Kyren, even that one touchdown he got, he could have. Right before that play, Matthew Stafford does a play action and has, I believe, one of the tight ends wide open in the end zone and fucking misses him. And then they go to the run play on the next play, and Kyren scores. And that was the only time he scored all game.
Yep.
So it was just little things like that I mean, it just didn't go my way. That's pretty much it. But funny thing, we were talking about the tight ends. So Kelsey, just a little bit of my thought process. Kelsey, for the last 6 games, didn't have a touchdown. He's been low targeted. Actually, no, he's been kind of high targeted, but like little dinks and dunks with maybe a 1-yard game. And his average was somewhere around 6 or 7 points. And last year, he was doing the same thing. It was a downtrend for the last 6 games. Clearly looked like they were kind of saving him for the playoffs. I started him in the championship, and he gave me like 2 points. Cheka Kwanko had like, I think
15.5 last week.
Yeah, 15.5. The 2 weeks in a row, he had double-digit targets. The Jacksonville Jaguars tight ends averaged 13 fantasy points against them all season. Cheka Kwanko also has talent. That's one thing I always look for. The motherfucker can run, catch, run people over. And I had all my Wakanda Forever gifts geared up for this motherfucker to score touchdowns. And especially, I was hoping he played against Njoku. I was going to have the gifts of the fucking
he's like baby Njoku, bro. Yeah. Same number. They look alike.
But unfortunately, it didn't work out because the other players, receivers for Tennessee Titans were also getting work too. So it just he didn't really get all the targets he didn't get any end zone targets, which would have put him up there. But on top of it, I did not know that Travis Kelce was chasing a record. I didn't know that.
I didn't know it until they came up on the damn board.
It didn't appear.
Well, that's where I've noticed in the playoffs, NJC has taken the research to another level. It's gone beyond the red book. Those are the little things. We talked about it last week a lot, that you had this great roster that you could set and forget. But in the playoffs, it's those little things, right? Those little who's chasing a record, right? Saquon may have got off to a slow start, but he's also chasing a record. I didn't know Travis was, and I'm watching the game with LJ, and he's breaking his records. He's doing Tony Gonzalez slam dunk over the field goal post because he broke his record. It's those little things, right? Like the Texans. You had the best kicker in the game. But like in the fantasy playoffs, I feel like you can't always set and forget. You gotta kind of look, all right, they're going up against an angry Baltimore team, right? Like that. 31-2.
Let me tell you though,
with Stroud with nobody to throw to.
When you have a set and forget it team, that's what haunts you, is that when you go away from your guns, like I did with Cheka Kwanko, and then the shit comes back and bites you in the ass, that fear keeps you from venturing out and moving away to your strategy. One thing I also say about Travis Kelce is first half of the game, I felt like I was a genius. I was like, he's doing the exact same. This is perfect. Glad I sat him. He had like 2 points. And it was one drive, really, that did it. It was one drive, and it was clear in that drive that, and then all of the announcements about him trying to chase a record came up. It was clear that Mahomes that he targeted him almost every play for that entire drive, all the way to the end zone, and it pushed him from 2 points all the way to 19 points. And
Yeah, it was the witching hour, brother.
Yeah.
It was the witching hour, dude.
Witching
Like,
hour.
Speaking of starting your studs, was there any thought given by you, Quan, about? I think last year you benched A-Chain in the Super Bowl and he had 22 points. Was there any thought? I mean, obviously you didn't have any other options really, but now you move him into the starting lineup, and then it's the reverse, right? Last year he bites you with the points on the bench. This year he bites you with the lack of points in the starting roster.
I want to interrupt right here because
play championship game first. But go ahead, Nick. I'm sorry.
Yeah, this actually brings us back to a point Coop made earlier. NJC dropped us a next level gem when he mentioned A-Chain and the outside run defense for whoever the fuck they played that week. I'm sorry, I'm bad on that.
It was Cleveland Browns who had
Cleveland Browns, yeah. And so I don't know if you got into that, but that's the kind of next level shit that NJC was doing, like looking into, well, the matchup is real bad for A-Chain because he just runs on the outside.
So no, I did not. That was some next level. I'm not going to sit here and act like it. No, I did not know about the outside run ability, but the people who the research, the people who I follow and stuff I use for my research they were down on A-Chain for a number of reasons. They did not mention outside run. They were talking about weather and other stuff like that, even when Tua was in. But I was confident that even with Tua in, when the going gets tough, Tua looks to wherever A-Chain runs. And without that, man, because he's been stopped on the outside by teams before, like I said. But without Tua, he's worthless. But the good thing is, I would say the good thing, last year really hurt because I feel like I lost because of me. Like I sat A-Chain to start Trey McBride. I went for I'm a very conservative person. I like to go, if you guys know me and how I am with life and how I am with money, how I am with everything. I'm pretty concerned. I like to go with the sure win. And A-Chain was kind of boom or bust as a rookie at that time. He had the super high ceiling, but he had a super low floor. And Trey McBride at the time was just steady 8, 9, 10, 8, 9, 10. He wasn't going to get 20, but he was going to give you 8, 9, or 10. And he gave me 8. And A-Chain gave me 22, which lost the whole thing. So, you got to have some balls in this game sometimes too. Man.
You weren't that far off though. You did. It was a huge point differential there, but it was really, even if you had 2 of your guys perform, it would have made a huge difference. I mean, you had 3 single digits and a negative. That's kind of impossible to win, but you still managed to put up 132 points, which it's a lot. So, and you're right. This is what makes fantasy football so maddening, is that you could set and forget and lose, because who really wants to lose with their studs on the bench that got them all the way there? But at the same time, you kind of do have to roll the dice and dive in next level and sometimes just fucking go with it and win or lose either way. You never know. It's a guess, but it's incredible shit, man. I don't know if you wanted to move.
No,
my bad.
No. I was nothing. I'm sorry, Nick. Go ahead. I don't have nothing.
I have something. Quan mentioned this year's loss. He mentioned what the mishaps that took place last year. I'd like to point out, before I get into the data, that this is Quan's 3rd Super Bowl appearance in 3 years. He's made a point of it last week that one of the goals is to finish in the top 3 and you bring back those 4 keepers plus your rookie contract. So Quan's regular season dynasty is not going anywhere. He's bringing back another strong team. But to get into Quan's Super Bowl record, let's talk about it a little bit. He's 1-3 overall in Super Bowls. That is a 25% winning percentage. 2024 that just took place, he lost to NJC 167.5 to 132. Last year he lost to NJC, closer game. 2022 he won his first championship against T. Ruth in a mighty battle, 93.5 to 90.5. And a couple years before that, 2018, he lost to T. Ruth by 5.5 points. So 2 close games to T. Ruth. Overall, 1-3 record. How does that stack up against AGS historically? I'm glad you asked. Teams who have been to multiple Super Bowls, the highest winning percentage. Now, we'll get into people who want to know accidental champions and stuff like that. But teams who've been to multiple Super Bowls, NJC, 3-2, 5 Super Bowls, 60% winning percentage. Frog's been to 7 Super Bowls, 4-3, 57% winning percentage. T. Ruth and Curse have both been to 4 Super Bowls. They're both 2-2, 50% each. Pimps and Hook both went to 2, 1-1, 50% records. FU Pay Me, James Bryant, 1-2 in 3 Super Bowls, 33% winning percentage. Bringing up the rear with teams with multiple Super Bowl appearances is the Quan at 1-3, 25%. Then we've got teams who've been to only 1 Super Bowl. Sugandis, Voodoo, and Victoria's Secret all made it to 1 Super Bowl and won. 1-0. Do we count that? 100% winning percentage in their 1 victory. And then we've got Rudy's replacements who's made it to 1 Super Bowl and lost. So he beats Saquon with a 0% winning percentage.
I don't know. I don't know if you should count those. Anything under 3 appearances.
No, get the fuck out of here, man.
Anything
Come
under
on. The 1000%, the one win and 1 appearance is that.
Hey,
Come on, that's
I'd rather be 1-0 in Super Bowl
Fuck yeah.
than 1-3.
I don't know about that because I've collected prize money every time.
That's true.
So there's
keepers.
something to win.
Keepers.
And keepers, prize money and keepers, making it every time is giving me the opportunity to come back every year. I'd much rather
agree.
make it and lose than not make it at all.
Absolutely. And to your point, that's what makes you maybe not a championship dynasty, but one of the strongest teams historically in AGS. And you're always there. These teams that went one time and you never heard from them again. I think that's a terrible stat. I don't give it. I just included it because I had the data to include it. But
asterisk with your Victoria's Secret.
not to
though.
mention,
I mean,
I wanna
asterisk with
say-
Victoria's Secret.
I
She
don't know.
stepped away. She walked away.
I want to say
Sugandis and Voodoo are still in the hunt, in the grind. That's different.
so they really suck, is what you're saying, Scott.
Not as bad as me. Not as bad as me, but yes.
But NJC, how do you? Before I talk about how I feel about the team moving forward next year, how do you feel about your squad looking forward next year? If you were to look at I know it's kind of hard to look to next year when you're just celebrating with your champagne and stuff today. I don't want you to enjoy this whole offseason, this championship offseason. Dude, like honestly, man, I envy. I could have went back to back last year. And had I went back to back last year, I would have been playing for a 3rd in a row this year. But that's not the case. But you went back to back. Now with that second head, you're gonna have a 3rd one before I even get my 2nd. So man, I give it up to you. But other than that,
he's nipping on my heels now.
but I can say this, dude. I'm in this for life. So I got fucking as many more years as I got left to live as I'm gonna be playing in this AGS. So you can win 10 of those, and I'm always gonna feel like I'm gonna catch you. So
It's all good, man. I mean,
real quick, Saquon, to your point, I have 3 losses as well. We have the same amount of losses in Super Bowls. I've been in the league longer, so that's the whole point. Same thing. I'm gonna be here for a long time. I hope to have more Super Bowl appearances. You do need 3 wins to catch up. But it's possible.
Possible. But no, man, looking forward, the biggest decision I have is to what running backs to keep. I've got a really strong running back core. I have a 1st-round pick. I've got a 3rd-round pick and 2 4th-round picks. So hopefully with that, I can do something as far as receivers. If I decide to keep my running backs and have to drop my receivers, hopefully I can, if I need to pick something up, I can. Hopefully there's a rookie contract that can be signed. There's a lot of rookie receivers coming out of schools next year. So depending on the draft, hopefully I can catch me a neighbors in my 12th pick, like Coop did last year. So we'll see, man.
You have contracts too, or
I don't have. Yeah, I've got all my contracts. So,
I need the
but,
Giants.
I have your second year. Brian Thomas Jr. is on one of your second years.
well, so I got 1 year left on that one.
Mm.
As soon as that's over, it comes back to daddy. So I've got 3 out of 4 contracts.
2 years never anyway. So
Whatever. So we'll see if I can assign some, if I can pick up a vet. I mean, looking at, I'm going to keep watching football for the next couple of weeks and see, who's emerging. I mean, I'll be honest, tonight I kicked myself because tonight was a Ricky Pearsall breakout game. I mean, next year might be different unless, people change or change teams, but, we'll see. I will enjoy my championship off season. The biggest decision I'm going to be making is, what trend to start as far as my third. Will it be a ring? Will it be something else? Who knows? Who knows what I'll bring to the draft?
It should
So
definitely be a neck tattoo. Definitely a neck tattoo.
I think it should be wedding invites or a bachelor party invite.
Oh, wow.
I didn't
Wow.
think
Speaking of,
about it. NJC, you have the golden ticket for all of us. You're the only unmarried man on this.
Take us somewhere nice.
it was just a few weeks ago that Coop was talking about Curse, T-Ruth, some of these other teams getting closer to his 4 titles, the bet he made with Joey first to 5. The game has changed. The game has completely changed. Turned over on its fucking head. And, these guys aren't on the podcast. They didn't jump on all season long, even though we got honeydicked a couple of times by Counselor. And I wonder what kind
By
of
the counselor's
pressure...
touch.
Surf used to it. It's like they wait all they'll wait all night for the counselor, and but he's busy as one famous slurp said, he's an attorney. He's busy. He doesn't have time for that. So I picked up a shoe for him. So
I have to buy his shoes for him.
Oh my god! Wow, that's my best moment of last season. Actually, that was incredible. But no, I wonder what kind of pressure they must be. I assume that they care. Well, at least the Curse must care as much as we do about this fantasy. I know he does. And now you're looking down, up. You're looking up. And
it's new blood too, because on top of them having 2 chips, they're both founding members. So, as much as people may say competitiveness of the league, me, Curse, and Jamon have all been here from the beginning. So they've had their opportunity much longer than NJC to get to 3. And now a young blood has surpassed them.
Wow. Wow. Well, speaking of those 2 guys,
I mean,
they did.
Daquan had 180 points last week. 188. I wish.
Did you just say you're welcome?
Chip.
You're welcome chip for NJC that he didn't have to. That he's lucky that he didn't play me last week. I took care of Jamon prior to that. But
I can't believe.
Well, how about the bye week? The benefit of a bye week. Bye week team.
I told you I don't like bye weeks, baby. I like to earn it.
This season.
Earn it.
Hey.
So and let's do NJC's top 3. All right, so NJC's top 3. All right, so number 3 this week, Penthouse Pimps pointless 159.5 points. The dude put up a beast of an output by himself. So that earns.
We call that in the postseason. We call that the Woomy special.
Woomy
foreskin flavor
every game, regardless.
By the way,
locked in.
By the way, the Pimp still would have lost to you in JC in the Super Bowl.
He still would have lost, but that was a hell of an output, and he's not even paying attention.
The OG's enjoying his fucking week, and you got to bring him in here and just
Hey, I'm still watching. All right, number 2 on the list. Connor's cunning 1-point cuckold. That comes in number 2. Literally the first person off waivers put up 17.5 points, which could have been the difference between third and fourth place. Amir
Well,
Abdullah
speaking
put
of
up
taking
17.
those deep dives, right? Connor came into the game hurt. I don't think he announced that he was even playing till a few minutes before the game, and I don't know. Is that a set it for? I don't know if that's a set it forget it in a crucial third place game with money and a keeper on the line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Forgot.
Literally
Or
Amir
didn't care.
Abdullah, literally on top of the waiver all weekend, put up 17.5 points. And coming in at number 1, I mean, it was a tie. It was a tie between that one and number 1. But of course, number 1, Quan's quivering quandary to play an unqualified Okonkwo over the quintessential Kelsey's quaffing 1,000th touchdown. It took me a lot of time to find those views.
Oh man, I thought it was gonna be the Colts, man, with the -3.
Nah, I had to.
Everything said
written.
it went. You're not on Twitter, Lou, but that went viral. Like everyone started the Colts in the Super Bowl,
Yeah,
not just you. Colts versus the Giants after what the Falcons just did to the Giants.
Let me tell you guys a little story. I think partially the fantasy gods punished me with the Colts because I saw the Colts on Emmett's team sitting there, and he needed to drop them to make a full roster, and I was waiting for it to happen. And we all know that Emmett's been battling illnesses and stuff this year, and I think partially by me just like waiting to feast on the Colts when he dropped them is a reason why that happened. And
so how long have you had them locked in on your roster waiting for the Super Bowl?
At least 4 weeks. Ever since Emmett dropped them. At least, not only am I waiting for them, I was eyeing them on Emmett's roster 4 weeks. I knew at one point I was like, Emmett has to drop them this week because
a month plus of preparation to get -3 points.
-3 points in the Super Bowl.
Damn.
I knew, I was like, I'm gonna get the bye. I'm more than likely gonna make it to a week 17. The Giants gave up double-digit plus points to defenses
all year long. All year long.
And then not to mention the week before, 30 points to a terrible Falcons defense. Defense, 30 points. And they go on to score 45 points, put them out of the race for Shador, out of the competition.
Completely.
And it makes no sense other than I have upset the gods somehow, and I apologize.
No, it's the deep dive. Neighbors had certain catches and yards and touchdowns, not contract incentive based, but to try to beat Puka Nakua's rookie record, which they clearly made a point of. Drew Lock went to Neighbors more. They hadn't done. I've owned Neighbors. That's the best game he's had all season. 36.5 points. Hopefully a sign of what's to come in the future. But those are the things that they were going to try to do, and they were successful this week.
The thing is, man, you can never count out a desperate team, bro. Like, regardless. And another thing is, everybody aside from us is playing fantasy football. Shit's gonna happen this week, man. To roll the dice. I mean, I've been in, what did you say, Coop? 5 Super Bowls. So I've seen that, like the one I won, the first Super Bowl I won against Frogs, Jacoby Myers caught this bomb out of nowhere to give me 17 points. Like crazy shit happens this week. So I don't know. Y'all know I'm superstitious, man. There's a reason why I'm superstitious.
Yeah.
Well, NJC, I'd like to add a number 4 to the NJC top 3, if you don't mind. And that was during the Super Bowl matchup. You took some time out of your busy schedule to set up an amazing fishing trip. Gifted my son a new fishing pole, got all the bait. Man, that's my type of fishing. I like to go, everything set up. I just gotta try to hook a fish and reel it in, man.
And you got the fucking biggest fish. I'm glad you did. I was telling my
Oh
mom.
my God.
You
My
got
mom
the
was
big
saying
on
today.
poles? You got to hook up on the poles too, VC?
Well, I mean, yeah. So
You can
really
rid
quick,
them?
I wanted to say, my mom was saying today she was happy you caught that fish, Coop, because she wanted you and LJ and Dom to have a good first experience, because it's something about catching a fish and then catching a big fish that kind of hooks you. Like you said, memories for the kids. It's important to me to impart a little bit of legacy, and fishing is. I was thinking about it. It goes back to my great great grandparents, man. So to be able to see the next generation and hopefully, spark a little bit of fire and passion. Maybe Jackson, LJ keep pass the torch one day. Because remember, Coop, me and you used to go as kids too. When I used to drag you out to Irvine Lake, and we'd hop in the fucking lake. My mom would get pissed when we were trying to fish, but yeah, man, it's a
No,
lifelong passion.
that was awesome, man. On top of my son being there, my adopted son Dominic, my nephew, came out too. Caught the first fish, a nice 3-pound rainbow trout, within the first hour, which was shocking, because we're just so you guys know, and you probably were scared when NJC sent this text out about having to be there at 3:00 in the morning. There were people that beat us by 4 hours easily. We got there at 3:00 in the morning, and we were like middle to the back of the line. You get there, you camp out till the gates open at 6 a.m., and then you try to get a premium position. We weren't able to get the top spots that NJC wanted, but we did get a good spot. We caught 3 fish total. Dominic caught the first one within an hour. You look around, people are looking at us. We're all surrounding the same lake. And we catch the first one. I think then I caught one. I caught 2 within half an hour.
That lightning was dope.
A lightning, which NJC had said he's never caught there before. And then we catch a big one. And everyone's looking at us. And it's back to back, man. So I hook it. And then this is a big boy. So NJC has to grab the pole. And I don't know if you guys have been fishing, man, but he's running down the lake, going underneath other people's lines, over the top of other people's lines. It's a battle. It's a battle with this 6-pounder, man, and we got it in there. That's the trophy. It is addicting. I caught a big one down in Puerto Vallarta. That was my first real big catch. So I have some trophies out in the garage, and this one's the next one that's going to go up in the garage, man. Beautiful fish. Not only did we catch it, then it became a family thing where my sister cleaned it and filleted it, and we deboned it, and then Alexis fried it, and we had a feast that night, man. So it was a great day.
Good, man. I'm
Beautiful.
glad. So what you were saying, Lou, about polls. So I got a bunch of polls, man. Pause. I got a bunch of polls, man. And my mom was talking about it too. So I do know that there's Bass Pro Shops, different places, different times a year offer a poll trade-in program. Bro, I have 20 poles, man. But the thing is, a lot of them are old. I gifted LJ some of the older poles we had. I'll probably I told Jax that if I win the Super Bowl, I was going to buy him a new pole. So there may be another pole that could be available for. Adi does have dibs, but I definitely would love to get the girls out when you two pause. Get them out to fish too. So. Like I said, we can talk offline. You can get a whole little setup for $20, bro, and I can point you in that direction. The beautiful thing about fishing is that it's one of the last cheap hobbies, bro. The only the biggest commitment is time. So we can always work out. I'm trying to, we can talk about it. I do want to start an annual camping trip now that our kids are getting a little older and about to start having their own lives. Something that kind of grounds them at least annually is something I'd love to do, to impart to the kids, so hopefully they can pass that torch. So I'm an outdoorsman by heart, man. So I love it. This is the good time. I don't really eat trout. So Coop, if I go again, I'll definitely drop off the catch to your house or anybody else who wants it. I like the sport of fishing. I don't really care to eat it. But
well, that's the interesting part, man. And this is now the second time it's happened to me, where I have these grandiose plans. I think Lewis was here last time. We caught some fish out in Catalina, and then everybody came over for the fish fry at the house. And after spending the day, catching that fish, we took this awesome picture, and I looked down, and he's bleeding out on my fingers. And then I take it to my sister's house, and we're skinning it, and pulling its bones out with tweezers. By the time the plate gets in front of me, man, I've spent too much time with that fish, man. Like, he kind of looked me in the eyes as he's breathing, taking his last gasps of air, man. And I'm like,
it's rough.
I can't eat this dude.
It's
man.
rough. Yeah, I've been cleaning fish so long, bro. I remember that moment.
Get a burger.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not part of that. I don't like seeing the sausage made.
Yeah. I get it. When you told me that, I thought about it. Like, man, I've been doing this so long. I've been cleaning fish for over 30 years, bro. So that I remember that part. I've long gotten past that. But yeah, man, I get it. I get it.
And real quick before we get away from it, you mentioned the pole trading program. I just want to let everyone listening know that Voodoo, the Bussy, is a member of the Counselor's Touch pole trading program, lifetime member.
But another possible name change?
Speaking of name changes, I'm glad you said that.
Go ahead, Scott. Go ahead while we pull up the list.
Yeah, well, before you pull up the list, because Malia had mentioned she wanted to go fishing, and I used to fish a lot because believe it or not, I was a Boy Scout. I don't know if you can actually believe that. So we used to do a lot of outdoor stuff.
Scott?
I didn't get to Eagle Scout. I was a whatever.
I was a
no. I was a Boy Scout. Weeblo is I was
That's
a Boy
junior
Scout.
Scouts, right?
Yeah, I got out before they started touching people.
I think I made it to Wolf.
What? Well, actually, BC, off the record, that is a reason why I didn't want to go to Boy Scouts. There was some real wild. That's why I stopped. That's for a different podcast.
We must all have a Boy Scout.
The leader was like, "Yo, we having a sleepover at my house." I was like, "Yo, here's my fucking uniform."
It wasn't a sleepover invite. It was just
you
like
wanted to take your uniform off at the sleepover.
Yeah, nah. I'm gonna FedEx this bitch to you. Here you go, pimp.
Nick is talking about the ranking system and how he's going.
You gotta get touched to get Eagle Scout. Hey, what's the symbol? What's the symbol like this?
That's the day. If you were taught that symbol, hey, they taught you the wrong shit, man.
I'm a survivor of Boy Scouts, and
you're an altar boy. You're an altar boy. Yeah, you were.
My son is a.
I missed out on that. I missed out on the altar boy stuff.
My son is an acolyte at school, but the good news is they're never. Nope. I drop off. I watch. I pick up. There's no
to you, Lennon, because you're the perfect target.
Oh my God.
Single mom, Boy Scout, and choir boy.
And then I rolled the dice one more time and joined Kappa Alpha Psi.
Hey, before we,
I like to live
so hot. It's hot,
risky life.
More ways than one.
Life on the edge.
Go ahead, Nick. I know you're
on the edge and edging. By the way, you should try both.
Before
we move on, I wanted to add one more to NJC's top 3 to make this a top 5. Yes, I want to shout out legendary NASCAR driver Mark Martin for receiving the first annual Antonio Brown Sports Cracker of the Millennium Award. Shout out.
I just saw that. He did the Funniest Cracker Award, too, and one of the 5 nominees was Kevin Hart.
That's funnier than any Kevin Hart joke. That's funnier than any Kevin Hart joke right there. That's amazing.
That is. No, really quick to circle back though, Nick. So yeah, if she wants to go fishing, trout season is different because, like Lennon said, you got to get up a little earlier. Catfish it's summertime, it's hotter. We don't have to get there so early. It's you catch a small catfish, it feels like a monster. So you're definitely welcome. I'm going to be doing it again. I'm probably going to try to go this weekend, man. But I'm going to try to do it as much as possible. So I'll just keep the notice out. It's the same lake, same price every time. Always welcome, man. And the more the merrier. We could just take up a bunch of spots. Hey, we could take up a bunch of spots. And the good thing is there's options, right? So like for $125, you, the wife, the kids, or whatever, 5 people can go. You spend the night. You can do fires there. You can catch the fish, clean, eat there. You can camp. It can be as big as we make it. You know what I mean? So summertime is definitely better for that for weather, but it's definitely a good experience for the family and the kids, man. So more to come.
JoJo, where's JoJo? Jojo, we're talking about catching chupacabras.
Oh my god.
Uncle Lincoln's talking to you. What you got to say?
I watched Chupa yesterday, but I don't want to watch it again.
Nobody wants to watch Chupa. We've seen it too many times.
We're master chupacabra hunters.
NJC, that is coming for you next year.
You're so cute.
Ooh.
Daddy's coming for you next year.
That is coming for you next year.
That's fine. That's okay. Tell Daddy that he pause, but tell Daddy that he can, try as much as he can. I've already got 3. It's okay. I'm
Well,
starting to
that's
lap you,
funny 'cause,
Lou. Starting to lap you
Papa Mon's coming for him too.
with that patented counselor's touch.
It's all right. Bye-bye. Here, baby.
So we did have a third place game too, by the way. There was
Yeah.
that.
It was close, man. That was the best
Man.
game of the weekend.
Forgot all about that game. It's funny. That
Yo,
was
man, it
I-
was close, bro.
It's
If
down
Purdy
to the
didn't throw those
final drive.
interceptions,
And instead of going for a touchdown, these fools kicked a field goal and missed it. And
It really was Terry McLaurin that sold T. Ruth, because McLaurin had a half point and T. Ruth lost by 5.
Warren, James Conner.
Oh yeah.
But you know
Well,
what?
Connor got hurt.
T. Ruth, he came into the game hurt. T. Ruth beat NJC by a week. He held out until a minute left in the final game of the fantasy football season to pay his league fee. So he was really hoping he was going to cash out, but he had to pay up.
speaking of league fees, I can't wait to see that notification a little later on.
It's coming. I think all the fees, on 9 p.m. on December 30th, I finally have been paid by everyone.
Finally, congratulations.
Just for the listening audience, these fees were due in late August.
Yeah, it'll never happen again. Like I said, I was riding the superstition wave and it paid off. So
Strictly enforced. Strictly
enforced.
Yeah.
You had some name change ideas here.
Oh,
for
yeah.
the Vussy.
mine aren't as
Let's hit
brutal. Mine aren't as brutal as the ones before. So I'm not going to really try. I just wanted to give my shot at what we've done so far. So I've got Penguin's Pygmy Penis. I've got the Transylvanian Tranny Tucker, Triple T. I've got
Passing the
Bermuda.
baton, they keep
I've
passing
got-
the baton.
I've got
Right? Always.
if I can. I got Bermuda's Booty Triangle, and I've got Gilgamesh's Gaping Gerfuffle.
Damn. Is that Gilgamesh reference to like a Chupacabra reference? Is that another kind of similar?
Wait, go back to the Bermuda one.
I
What
said
was that?
Bermuda's Booty Triangle.
Bermuda. Jesus.
I don't know, man.
Honestly,
So,
trying to-
at the draft, I'm bringing whiteboards and markers,
Yes.
and we're going to
Yeah.
workshop it.
yeah, we're gonna have
it's
to
gonna be
really
fun.
take some time, do some brainstorming.
Oh yeah.
narrow it
Oh, yeah.
down.
It won't be
Yeah.
as much fun if Voodoo doesn't show up for it, though. It's like be present,
He doesn't listen to the pod, so I don't think that he knows how much we have in store.
I know for a fact he doesn't listen to the pod because he's been texting me recently, which he didn't do the entire season. And I'm like, if you knew what we were saying on the pod, you would not be texting me.
Yeah. And so I took one note for the week. I think it's going to be fucking epic this weekend when Saquon beats Eric Dickerson's record in New fucking York against the fucking Giants, bro.
Do you
That's
think
what he
that's
was
going to
saying.
happen?
That's
And
what he
John
was saying
Mara
it
should
for, bro. It's like
fire
130 yards away in New York against the
That's a
Giants.
lot. That's a lot. Though.
Mara should fire that GM at halftime like Mike Brown got fired in Sacramento this week.
That was harsh.
Like a text
Yeah.
message, like he was getting on the flight or at the airport or some shit.
On the way to the airplane, I think the
Yeah.
flight to LA to play the Lakers.
I
After
think,
practice.
honestly, I think with that win last week, I think the GM and the coach are gone with that win last week because they were short for Shador, and now the Raiders are back in the ball game again.
There's 4 things I think they did, and help me remember. They extended Daniel Jones.
Mhm.
Then they let Saquon walk. There's a third one, but this is the most recent one, losing the number one pick.
Right.
Like
They let
That's-
a defensive or offensive. There's another big player they let go. I think maybe it was a defensive player. They
Oh,
let go.
they did. They let like a defensive end go or something like that.
yeah, they let another star go. I think they passed on Bo Nix, Michael Penix, and one other quarterback. Oh, and JJ McCarthy. They had the opportunity to take any of those, and I think that was. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's a ton of failures with that leadership.
Yeah, man. So it's gonna be
It
beautiful.
doesn't
gonna
seem like
be
it's
poetic
that
justice.
difficult of a job, though. Like being a GM doesn't seem like it's that difficult of a job.
Well,
It's
I'll
kind
tell
of
you
difficult
this.
for you, Scum, right?
I'll tell you
No.
this. If I'm a GM
no,
of
you
a
know,
team
yeah.
and I have Saquon on my
You're
fucking
the
team,
Joe Schoen of AGS, right?
No, because I did let go of Josh Allen, so that one does kind of hurt still. But everybody
I just went
runs
through
into a
about
little bit of bad
14
luck.
teams that have
Yeah.
been to a Super Bowl, and for some reason your name wasn't listed there.
That's weird.
Even Rudy
It's-
made the list.
Even Rudy's been to a Super Bowl.
Damn.
Even Rudy, God bless him, man.
Even
God
Vu's
bless.
been to a Super Bowl and won.
I know, man. The good Lord's waiting for
Hey,
something
hey,
real
GM's
special.
it's not hard, right? It's not a hard job. Easy.
I will say, after watching Hard Knocks,
I would
it made
never
me-
cut
After
Saquon
watching
Barkley.
Hard Knocks, it made me feel like, oh, that's a job that I could do. Like I certainly could do that shit. Like
When
that's
the 14-year-old sitting on the couch and he's like, just take Jaden Daniels, Dad. You want to win? Pick Jaden Daniels.
right.
Literally anybody can use
Yeah. I-
Wait, who in this league did actually step up and take Jaden Daniels?
Well, string that in, put a team around him, and maybe we'll see you in a
get
few
some
years.
running backs. Get
Right.
rid of fucking
Yes.
Javonte Williams.
No,
No,
Let
no,
him
no,
die.
they're all gone. Everybody's gone. They should have been jettisoned a long time ago. It's fine, but that gives me a little bit of hope going into next season because I see Lamar Jackson play. I see what Lamar Jackson has done. I see what good quarterbacks have done to build a team around for some of these teams that are perennial contenders, and you feel good about it. And there is a new draft strategy here, and I think we've said too much on the podcast, to be honest with you. I think we talked too much about the kind of moves we're going to
one
make now.
listens. They don't listen. They don't listen. Maybe
We listen, and we're enough to fuck each other up.
Hey, but you know what? And that's the beauty of the waiver wire strategy, boys.
I'll
That's
say
why
this.
you got to sharpen both tools.
Hey, NJC got to talk about his plans for next year. Nick, plans for next year. What are you looking at? What's moving forward?
Well, I'm glad I didn't have to have 3 keepers because they would have been wasted on me. It's going to be running back heavy, and I do have rookie contracts available, and I regret not getting rid of those rookie contracts a year earlier because I could have put JD on a longer contract, and I should have gone after Brock Bowers with my first pick like I wanted to, but I got shaky nuts. So I don't even know who I'm really going to keep. We'll see what happens there. But it's going to be running back heavy. And I don't know. It's going to be running back heavy, though, for sure. Definitely
Talking about
definitely
draft
one of the
or
first.
keeping.
I don't have any running back. Well, it depends. We'll see what happens with.
Mhm.
We'll see what happens. But definitely drafting one with my first pick. No matter what, and maybe my second pick too, and just go from there because the receivers seem to be historically parts you can move in and out really easily. You can catch some guys later in the league, but the running backs are few and far between, and like the Rico Dowdle, just like not cutting guys too a little too early. That'll be a new strategy for me. Like, hey, just chill out and wait maybe 5 weeks, 25% of the season, see what happens.
Cool.
Yeah.
What about you? Looking forward, man. You got the third keeper, the consolation championship. Congratulations.
And the 4th pick in the draft. I'll tell you what, man. This week was hopefully a glimpse of the future. I have, Malik Neighbors will be back. Bijan Robinson will be back. Puka Nakua will be back. There's a couple other guys. I got at least 2 other keepers and another rookie contract to look at. But just those 4 that I didn't mention Garrett Wilson, but those 4 scored 95 points by themselves this week. So I'm fine. I'm happy with the foundation that I have. Obviously, it cost me a quarterback, a great quarterback to get Neighbors. But I have some picks and I have a good foundation. And, my goal is to join the postseason with you and NJC next season.
I'll say, Lennon, I'll be honest. I think you're your squad, looking at your squad, is the most dangerous rising squad in the league as far as potential and moving forward. You got two, young talent. I talk shit about BTJ. He was a great pick and he's a baller, but he doesn't have the talent that Neighbors has. Neighbors is going to be the better player. BTJ had the better year this rookie year, but Neighbors is going to be the future, top 5, top 3 wide receiver. But
there's another week of football to be played, and they're neck and neck. So,
are they? Because he put up 20. He was kind of way ahead. Like BTJ was
look at the data. They're neck and neck.
Because BTJ is like, I believe he's not just top rookie. He's like top 5, top 6 receiver, period.
Neighbors is right there, too.
He's right there. Damn. Well, there you go.
There were 4 rookies that put up over 1,000 yards. None of them were drafted number 1 overall in AGS. It was Neighbors, BTJ, Brock Bowers, and Lad McConkey.
McConkey.
There were some talented ball catchers, man, except for the one you told your cousin to draft.
Unfortunately. That leads it to me, man. I got a decision to make because I'm not giving Joe Burrow back to the league. That he's a Quan. That's not with those 50 burgers. I can't do it. So I gotta drop somebody, man. I gotta drop one of the main players. So we'll see who it is.
You've dropped Mixon before, you've dropped Kelsey before, and they've come right back.
Yeah. But well, Kelsey for sure is getting dropped. You guys can have him. But one of it's either Mixon, Amon-Ra or CeeDee Lamb because I have BTJ on contract. Like, why? I don't know. Or it could be Burrow. I'm saying it's not going to be Burrow, but I got a decision to make. But I can't see myself dropping a quarterback like that.
You got him late, real late second round?
Huh?
You got him late second round?
Yeah, last pick of the second to last pick of the second round.
That's probably your most value pick, bro, because he leads the league in what, passing yards and touchdowns?
Yeah, they're
for fantasy.
He's the best pocket passer in the league right now. The best pocket passer. Took over for Brady. He's the heir apparent to Brady, but he does not run like Lamar. That is not Lamar. Oh my God,
dude! If Lamar could have played that fourth quarter, he probably would have put up 48 points, bro.
Dude, Lamar, even when the play is a busted play, he still gains yards and scores points when it's a busted play. And then Derrick Henry just makes it unfair because you can't just spy him now. You got to worry about Derrick Henry, and they always do it too. You've been watching them, BC. The whole first quarter, Derrick Henry pounding them. The second quarter, read option fake to Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson up the sideline for a touchdown. Every goddamn game.
Yep.
It's
I actually, the funny thing, it's funny you brought that up, Lou, because I really thought that Derrick Henry was going to vulture a lot more this season, but it actually worked out pretty well. So yeah, man.
Go ahead.
No, Quan, you're talking about the future, and before we wrap up, is it enough to just drink some Hennessy, go to sleep, and move on and start building for the future, or is this something that keeps you up at night during the off season? There was a quote that I saw and posted to the thread, and I'll read part of it. Your overall emotional happiness for the next year will be decided within the next 60 hours, and it was decided tonight. This time in 3 days, which is today, you'll either wake up an undisputed fantasy football champion like NJC will tomorrow, or a complete and utter failure in every sense of the word. Can you go to sleep, wake up, and just start rebuilding, or do you think about this a little bit?
No, I've put the loss behind me. I put the loss behind me the good thing about this, it was an ass whooping. It wasn't like, last year the loss hurt for a long time. This time, no. But no, we're looking.
It gets
forward.
better, Quan. It gets
The
better.
off season starts today. Like, I'm looking forward to it. I'm coming back with some ballers, man. I'm ready.
In addition to the Hennessy, do you put Neosporin on the butthole tonight?
You know what? For someone whose off season started a long time ago, it's a lot of inquiries about championship players, the players who are playing for a championship over here.
Dang, he said he said your butthole already healed.
Yeah,
I don't know if anyone has. We'll have to look this up, but I don't know if anyone has back-to-back Super Bowl losses.
Probably not. But I don't know if anyone's made it to 3 Super Bowls in a row in AGS
And went 1 and 2.
and made it to 3 in a row. Collected, there's a reason why it's a first, second, and third place prize money win. I don't think I've paid for my fees in over, because I think I was
Is this Quan talking or Boo? Usually when you go to the money, it's Boo. Quan's sticking to Boo strategy. Oh, I've got some money.
Speaking of, Boo let me know that Rolex is increasing 10% this year.
I'll take that because honestly, the fees, I would trade that shit in for a win any day. So I'll give it to you for that. I could care less about the prize money. Could care far less. One time, I remember this, and I'll just bring this up. Fucking Jamon, the counselor, offers me a player and like $50, and this wasn't that long ago for a trade. And I was like, "What the fuck do you think this is, motherfucker?" I told you, go to fucking Sinkay with that bullshit. You couldn't give me $500 for a trade in AGS history. It's not about the money. 100%. It is about.
No, you give me $500, I might trade you somebody. I'll trade you J.K. Dobbins.
I could care fucking less. Give me Lamar. I'll give you $500 for Lamar Jackson.
You got Burrow, bitch.
Joe Burrow, yeah.
You fucking stingy bastard.
You just pumped up the cracker of the year, man. What the fuck, dude?
You could have Alexis for a week for Lamar Jackson back, man. It's worth more than $500.
Lynn,
Oh my God.
You take Joe Burrow.
The funny thing is,
The offer's good for Joe Burrow too.
since we do
it for free anyway.
Hey, it's funny
I'll throw it CeeDee Lamb. No.
that text. Wow, let me stop this right now. That text that Lou sent you last year about trying to stop me trading Lamar. Not only did it bring me 1 championship, it brought me 2. So thank you for that trade, Coop. It's the gift that keeps on giving.
Nick mentioned the Lamar report, but I'll tell you what, man. The biggest mistake that I made was because I'm more than happy with Neighbors, and whatever I get with the second round pick, it won't be that valuable. I don't think it'll be as valuable as Neighbors, but that's around whatever. My goal was to replace him with a dope quarterback. And it was almost a flip of the coin for me between Jordan Love and Joe Burrow. And if I go Joe Burrow, I'm not worried about that trade at all.
Yeah,
Joe Burrow.
You go Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow
might be in the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
You go Joe Burrow. You're in the playoffs this year, bro.
That's how good of a season
maybe
he
the
had.
title. Maybe the title.
I'm not gonna go that far, but
I will, for your sake. I will, because you put up a lot of big time points and lost by 1 or 2, and I think so, man. I think it would have been that is definitely a butterfly effect moment. That is a tremendous butterfly effect moment right there. That would have changed everything.
Not only that, it transforms Quan season.
Yeah, Quan would have been a consolation champ again.
Because
I don't know if it brings him down that far. But
I would have went Jordan Love. I would have went Jordan Love with that.
That's what I was gonna ask you, Quan. Who was your list of quarterbacks you were targeting?
My number 1 pick was going to be Travis Kelce. Then if he wasn't available, then McBride. But McBride went first, so I went Kelce. And then my second pick was Burrow, then Jordan Love, then Kyler Murray. And
that definitely would have that trajectory would have been way different if you didn't get Burrow.
yeah. And honestly, I was wavering on Burrow. Like it could have been like if all three of them were available, I might have picked Kyler Murray over all three of those.
Yeah,
At
because
that time.
Burrow was coming off an
Injury?
injury-plagued season. Jordan Love had like that dope last like 6 to 8 weeks to close out last season. You never know at draft day, man.
It almost was like you got it was what happened is Murray and Jordan Love went, and I had no choice but to grab Burrow. So it wasn't like but I was not in any way expecting him to be available. I thought he was gone for sure.
But I mean, you can add to the butterfly effect that had you gone the other way, I think there's a possibility you could have picked up a Baker Mayfield or a Sam Darnold and still had a similar type of output. So there's a lot of different woulda, shoulda, coulda.
Immediately. And I'm glad you said that, BC, because that's one thing that I do to myself every year. We talked about how you and I are totally different in our strategies. Is I handcuff myself every year with rookies, and I mean, although I've been successful and had good, I handcuff myself to where I don't have the freedom to make the waiver wire pickups that you and Joey do. And Joey texted me one time telling me after he traded away all of his rookie contracts, he was like, "Man, you don't understand how good it feels to have the freedom to play the waiver every week and add players and stuff." And I'm like, "All right, tell me about it."
That's why I sacrificed all my contracts. I felt that same handcuff. Getting all those rookies not doing shit, and you can't even drop them or move them. Yeah,
dude.
Because if you have contracts, you're limited to 2 or 3 spots that you can maybe move.
Less
unless depending on how many contracts you have out.
Unless they hit, like mine are just like reserve. Like Zay Flowers, he'll never start over CeeDee Lamb or Amon-Ra. He's just a reserve. So he's not only does he have a bench spot, but he's immovable. So it's a handcuff. It's a gift and a curse at the same time is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, man.
That has been about almost an hour and a half, guys. I think we put a bow on it. The big question is, do we return next week, or is this it?
We'll be back. We'll have a highlight episode, and then I kind of threw that Lex joke out there because we do want to bring the ladies on in the off season. Before we sign off, I just want to give a shout out, man. Now that Christmas has passed, at least in the Black community, the next big holiday that we celebrate is Mardi Gras, and one of the places we look to celebrate that holiday is at Harold and Bells. We mentioned it on the podcast earlier. Nick, you had asked what it was, and it's a place that we go to throughout the year. We celebrate all our New Orleans roots, holidays at the establishment, man. And unfortunately, during the Christmas holiday, they had a major robbery at the restaurant. For the handful of people that are listening, you can go to their Instagram page and click on their GoFundMe link. They're trying to rebound. It's already tough enough for a restaurant these days, but to get robbed during the holidays sucks, man. So if you can support Harold and Bells, whether it's a GoFundMe link or when they come back and reopen, go and support the restaurant.
Hey, and fuck those.
I didn't even know that, man. That sucks. I'm sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah, fuck those people, man. People that steal are among the worst type of people in the world. So fuck those assholes. Sorry to hear that, man. Sorry to hear about that. That sucks. And so now I get to end the podcast on that note. God, thanks. Appreciate it.
Well, I had to put the PSA out there, man. Sorry.
Yeah. No. For real. Go check them out. Check out the Instagram. Help them out. But that does it for the Any Given Sunday. That does it for the fantasy football season. We'll be back next week. Hey, counselor! I think I started something with a counselor's touch, man. That's making the cycles.
And then you added the Boy Scouts touch and the Altar Boy touch and
oh my
the
god!
touch.
Hey,
hey, you know what? It's starting to make sense with Nick's background now. It's like he's trying to groom a 10-year-old boy. Come see my Star Wars toys. And
do you have a lightsaber? Would you like to see mine? It's shiny.
Jesus juice for you.
Back up. It grows. No, man.
You guys are really speaking these quotes like you've heard them before in your lives.
Hidden in
That's-
plain
Back
sight.
up,
back up and
plain
grows.
sight.
Back up and grows is something
Look
NJC
at all my Star Wars
definitely
toys,
heard in his
boys.
life. Yeah, it's
I'll
Star
trade
Wars.
you an
No,
exclusive
no.
lightsaber that I got at Frank's Sons this weekend for a starting running back.
That's funny. I'm gonna post a picture of Frankensons. I did get some great shout out to Frankenson. I got some great Jaden Daniels rookie cards from a couple of vendors from them. Some nice graded rookie cards. If you wanted some sports collectibles, Frankenson and industry. And you know what? Fuck all you guys for trying to make me sound like some pedo. You guys are the worst type of friends, and you know. I gotta deal with it, man. Cracker of the Year
Hey,
award.
with friends
goes
like
to
us, who needs enemies, brother?
Hey, Nick, you do live in Rialto, man. So
I don't know what that fucking means, but you know what? Fuck you, man. You know what? That's fucked, man. We got our own fishing spots out here too, and it's not that trouser trout. You guys
I
are
know what
talking
they're
about
fishing for. They're fishing in white bins.
here. Oh, my God.
He said trouser.
Fishing with gummy worms.
How dare you? Do you know how many fucking rednecks live out here in the IE? We got fishing spots all over the place, man.
Hey, man, we'll come out.
We
We'll come
got
out
a
there,
Bass Pro
bro.
Shop, damn it.
Hey, I'll come out there and fish.
That's right.
Shit.
Ucaipa Regional, Lytle Creek. We got the fucking lakes up here in the mountains. Come on, man.
Yeah, man, I'm down for that shit.
Anyways, I'm getting the fuck out. This podcast is ending right now. Any Given Sunday podcast, Super Bowl, final week of the season. It's a wrap for us. We'll be back next week, though, to highlight some of the best moments of this season. But for the crew, back-to-back champ, 2024-2025 champ, NJC, the commissioner, Quan and Robo Scum. We're out, guys.
So let's go. All right, y'all.
Yes.
Please like and subscribe.